On this day in 1975, Celtic wore numbers on the hoops for the first time in a competitive match. Celtic had avoided putting numbers on the sacrosanct hoops for the previous 25 years after most Scottish clubs began numbering them in 1950, instead printing large numbers on the front and back of the shorts from the early 1960s. The SFA and the Scottish League accepted this compromise, but in 1975, UEFA insisted that all teams must have numbered jerseys, and the last time Celtic wore pristine hoops in a European match was against Valor of Reykjavik in the European Cup Winners' Cup first round second leg match on the 1st of October 1975, the night George McCluskey and Jim Casey made their Celtic debuts. UEFA then insisted that Celtic must number their shirts for the second round matches against Boavista. It wasn't a problem for the first leg, as Celtic turned out in yellow tops and green shorts in a match during which Peter Latchford was threatened by a gun-toting policeman for time wasting in the last 5 minutes of a goalless draw. Celtic were managed this season by Sean Fallon in the enforced and prolonged absence of Jock Stein, who was recovering from a near-fatal car crash in the summer of 1975. He had travelled to Portugal with the team for a sunshine break for the first leg, in which Celtic were missing both Kenny Dalglish and Dixie Deans through injury. Both forwards were back for the second leg, and 18-year-old George McCluskey, who had an impressive match in the 1-1 draw with Rangers that weekend, retained his place. Fallon told the Glasgow Herald of the 4th of November 1975, "I have no fears about George for this one. We knew he had the ability and we gave him the chance to prove he also had the temperament against Rangers. He passed that test. He is in on merit. There is no substitute for ability, and the boy has it." With large black numbers on a white square on their backs, Celtic lined up Latchford, McGrain, Lynch, P. McCluskey, MacDonald, Edvaldson, G. McCluskey, Dalglish, Deans, McNamara, Callaghan, subs, Hunter, Wilson, Hood, Lennox, Glavin. Much had been made of Boavista's impressive away record. They were unbeaten on the road that season and were very dangerous on the break. Their manager, Mario Pedroto, who was also the manager of the Portuguese national side, was quoted in the Evening Times of the 1st of November. "Obviously, we'd have liked to win the first match, but our style is suited to playing away from home. We can still qualify." Boavista's game plan was blown out of the water after just 35 seconds when Kenny Dalglish scored, and it was a disaster for the keeper, Antonio Botelho. Dalglish accepted a throw-in with his back to goal on the corner of the penalty box. He flicked the ball over his shoulder and hit a shot on the turn with the outside of his left foot. There was some swerve on the ball, but little power in it, and it hit the keeper on the chest before bouncing off him and into the net. The lead was doubled on 20 minutes when Boavista failed to deal with a ball into the box from Andy Lynch's free kick. It broke to Joe Edvaldson about 12 yards out, and he smashed a low shot past the keeper. That should have been that, but Boavista pulled one back on 36 minutes with a stunning strike from their Brazilian midfielder Mane. Despite almost relentless Celtic pressure after the interval, this made for a tense second half, with the knowledge that a second for Boavista would send them through on away goals. Poor finishing and some heroics from Botelho were frustrating Celtic, and they began to look ragged after Danny McGrain and Dixie Deans both hit the post. It took until 5 minutes from time before they made the game safe, Dalglish breaking from midfield and sending Deans through on goal with the Portuguese claiming in vain for offside. Dixie carried the ball into the box before finishing expertly to seal a 3-1 win. Pedroto was suitably impressed by Celtic, telling the Glasgow Herald of the 6th of November 1975, "Celtic can beat anyone at home. Their away form is not so good, but they are so strong here, and that alone must make them favourites to win the tournament. They have so many good players, but I must single out McGrain, Dalglish and the young George McCluskey. These are players of tremendous class, and they proved that tonight." Sadly, it was not to be, and they went out in the quarter-finals to the East Germans of Sachsenring's Wickau in a tie they dominated and really should have won. It was possibly the last time before Seville when Celtic had a genuine chance of winning a European trophy.